In episode number 34, I'll be talking with Kasey Zapater, a guard who plays for Nizhny Novgorod, and you can join us on the Instagram Live and ask your questions. So, we'll watch you here. Thank you for being there. Hello, Kasey. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm good. How you doing?
Well, I'm good. Thank you. So, how is everything going?
It's good, man. Good. It's cold, but it's good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right now I'm in Alabama, and here it's getting colder too. So,
I'm from Texas. I'm not used to the snow and stuff.
yeah,
It's all good.
that should be crazy, right? In Russia.
Yeah, so much snow, but it's been warm. But then today was a little cold. But it's all good.
Okay, so we'll just wait like 1 minute to let other people join the Instagram live, and then we can get started. So, how is it to play with no fans?
I don't like it. Um, I think the only good thing about playing with no fans is, everyone can still be safe. And it's easy to hear, coaches yelling something or, communicating with their teammates, but the energy is not the same. But we have fans at our game, just not as much as we would normally.
Well, but I mean, in Russia, you guys are able to bring people to the games, or how is it?
Yeah, yeah, they do. I think I want to say maybe 20% they have
Hmm?
right now.
Yeah, because I've seen that there were like players from teams who were going to play in Russia who are like everyone is not wearing masks. The situation here in Russia, it's like COVID has never happened. So,
Yeah, man, I thought for sure there would be no fans, but we have fans. I think the past 2 months, yeah, December and January, we have fans every game.
okay. Okay, so as I'm seeing that there's more people on the Instagram Live, I will get started with the introduction. So today I'll be talking with Kasey Zapater, a guard from Texas who currently plays for Nizhny Novgorod in Russia. He played college in Lafayette, and as a professional basketball player, he has played in Montenegro, Hungary, Georgia, Ukraine, and Russia, as I've said. And thank you so much, Kasey, for being with me today and joining the podcast of interviews with professional basketball players.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure. Pleasure to be here.
Okay, I usually start with some short questions as icebreakers. So I want to know which was your favorite team when you were a child.
Oh man, the Rockets. I've always been a Rockets fan since I was a kid. So
And
that
your
was always
and
my
your
team.
favorite player?
When I was a kid, Steve Francis. I love Steve Francis. Stevie franchise, man. His moves, his crossover. He
Hmm?
played with a lot of confidence, a lot of swagger, a lot of flash. And unfortunately, I think his prime was kind of short. But being from Houston, he's the guy I was always excited to watch for sure.
So the San Antonio Spurs were your favorite team because you're from Texas, right?
No, the Rockets. Rockets, of
Oh, the
course.
Rockets.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, the Rockets.
okay. Did you have an idol away from basketball?
Um, an idol away from basketball. No, I don't think so. I think there are certain guys that they have certain things about their personality that I look up to, but I've never had just one particular person that I always looked up to. I would say my father. He has some good characteristics. Very, very intelligent guy, very well spoken,
Hmm?
and he's hilarious. So, that's one guy that I would say I look up to.
Okay,
And he used to play basketball back in the day too.
okay. As a professional level, or
No, he played in high school. He played in college. He was pretty good, but he never made it to pro.
okay. Well, have you had any favorite teammate over all the teams that you have played in?
Ah, Man, favorite teammates. Ooh,
You can
that's
pick a
that's
few.
yeah. Okay, okay, cool. A few. My first year, my roommate Alex, when I played in Montenegro, he was from Niš, Serbia. He spoke
Yeah.
really good English, so he was my right hand man. Like he pretty much helped me get through the season. You know, dealing with guys that don't speak English very well, and the languages Montenegro and Serbia are pretty similar. So he was able to help me learn and navigate the day to day. Also, he took me to his home, and we had I think 3 or 4 days off for New Year's. He took me to Niš, Serbia. I met his family. We got to go out and celebrate for New Year's, and we still keep in contact to this day. So he's definitely one of my favorite guys. One of my teammates last year, my boy Dion, he's probably watching. Dion, we lived in the same building. We were both combo guards, so we played off each other. And he was a really good guy, man. He's real funny, good energy. He had a positive attitude most of the days. Unfortunately, we didn't get to finish the season together, but he's one of my favorite teams.
Well, this has been one of the most difficult questions for the players where they have had more struggles. And yeah, I mean, usually the players aren't able to pick a few, but it is how it is. Have you had any favorite country that you have played in, where you have played in?
Mm, favorite country? Um, favorite country? Mm, man, for a whole season, I would say maybe Russia. Russia's probably one of my favorites thus far. I think Kyiv was probably the nicest city because it's a capital. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of people. There's pretty much everything that you want to do, everything that you would like to do. They have it. So I would say that city was really dope. But I enjoyed playing in Russia, though. I like the professionalism of the league, and I like the competition. I learned a little bit of the language before I came, so it's easy for me to, move around and talk to people. And if I want to buy something in the store, I can, communicate. I can communicate with my teammates. But I will say Spain is my favorite place that I've ever visited. Just for like maybe one game. Spain by far is like if I can go back to Spain for any reason, I will go, no matter what.
Well, I have to say that I'm from Zaragoza, so the city where you played against.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess that you're saying that it's probably one of your favorite countries, and you've been there like just for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, I went in college as well. Our college team went and we did, I think, 10 days. We played some games. We went to Barcelona, went to Madrid, went to Valencia. So even then, I was like, yeah, this is the best place on earth. I think Spain is the most beautiful place. Beautiful
Okay.
people. The food's good. The beaches are good, and beaches are beautiful, and it was it was amazing.
All right. Which has been the best player that you have played against? The one that put you in a situation where you say like, I can do any better.
The best player that I've played against,
Yeah.
hmm,
Maybe in college, I don't know.
man. Well, honestly, okay, I'll give you one from college, and then I'll give you a couple from professional. College, my teammate Alfred Payton, he's playing for the Knicks, New York Knicks
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He's he was
Unbelievable.
yeah, he was incredible. I learned a lot from him, but I had a lot of bad days trying to guard him. And
Mhm.
I remember my freshman year of college, it felt like every time I crossed half court, he would take the ball every time, and just trying to stop him from getting in the paint is almost impossible. So he was for sure one of the toughest guys I've ever had to guard. Professionally this year alone, I played against a bunch of guys that were tough. Isaiah Cannon, he's he's just incredible, and I have a relationship with him, so it was fun playing against him. But super tough, super quick, such a quick release. He creates space so fast. And then Jamar Smith, we played against them, I think, last week, and he did a step back on me, and I was like, oh man, this guy. I was like, this guy. You like seriously? You gonna do that?
Yeah.
But he's so smooth and he has these really long arms. Crossover is really long and he gets you going and changes direction. And so I would say those two guys probably the toughest two guards I've played thus
Any Cheska player?
far.
Mike
No,
James?
but Mike James didn't play when we played them. So I
Oh,
was excited. I was
yeah.
excited, and then I look over and he's just sitting there on his phone. I was like, all right. But
Okay.
yeah, just I would say those two for sure.
All right. And the most difficult team that you have played against?
Last year playing against Karsheka when I was in Ukraine, that was a tough team. They had, I think, 6 Americans, all older guys, veterans,
Hmm?
experienced. They were all very good, very unselfish, and they were so deep that you kind of it was so difficult for us because we couldn't stop everybody. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
most games, coaches will say, we got to stop this guy, we got to stop this guy. But against them, like we got to stop this guy and 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 this guy. And you can't stop everybody. You know what I mean? Like you might play good defense on the guard, the point guard, and then the two guard starts scoring, or the four men start scoring. And they had so many good Americans. I remember being on the bench watching. I think his name is Mbaye. He's still there. I was watching him just go to work
Yeah.
at the four. And I was just sitting there like, man, there's nothing. I don't know if there's anything else we can we can do.
Yeah. Did you have to do a scouting report for that game, or well, I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure, of course, of course.
so did it work or not at all?
No, it didn't work, but I don't know if that was because of the scouting or if that was just because we didn't execute the gameplay the way we were supposed to. So, you know, but yeah, everything seems easy on paper. You read it, oh, okay, send him to his left, or yeah, don't let him shoot threes. And then when you get on the court and they start doing all these things that maybe you weren't prepared for, or the game starts moving at 100 miles an hour, it's not as easy as it looks. So that's
Okay.
part of it too.
As a professional basketball player, what do you like to do in your free time when you're not playing games or practicing? Which are
Cooking,
your favorite things?
cooking. I love cooking. I'm actually about to cook in a little bit.
Hmm?
Cooking, eating. When the weather is good, I like to go out in the city and check out the nice restaurants. Walk a little
Yeah.
bit with my teammates when I have time. I like to read. I have a bunch of books that I brought with me, and I bought more books while I was here. I've been reading, a little bit at a time. Playing video games with my friends back home whenever we have the time. Catching up on movies from time to time as well, and watching basketball too. I do enjoy watching EuroLeague because you don't get to see that style of play when you're back in America. So I
Yeah.
enjoy being able to watch that while I'm
Which is the best part of being a professional basketball player?
here. Oh man, playing the game. You play the game all your life, and then one day you have the opportunity to continue to play the game that you love and make a pretty good living playing the game. And I think being able to wake up and do that every day is just truly amazing. You get to, in addition to that, if you get to play in a cup like a Euro Cup or Euro League or something, you get to travel all across the world to play the game of basketball. I mean, I think this season I might have played in 5 countries or 6 countries. Last season, I went to like 4 or 5 new countries that I've never been to before. So
Yeah.
just being able to play and travel is like can't really ask for that.
Well, for the people who don't know what is the NCAA Division One, well, you played in college for Lafayette. If you could explain to the people who's watching it or will watch it later, how is the NCAA?
The NCAA is a great medium for talented athletes, especially at the Division 1 level. There's a lot of great players from the high major, the big schools to the mid majors where I was to even the smaller schools. There's so many good players, and the competition is good, especially when you get the chance to play against the bigger schools. So you get to measure up and see how you do against the big competition. It's almost like if you're in Spain and you play for Saragossa, you think you're
Mhm.
pretty good, and you get to play against Barcelona one day. So you thinking to yourself, okay, now I get to see how good I really am against the
Yeah.
best, the best of the best. It's the same in college. You have all these great players from all across the states, and then you get to line up against the bigger schools at the beginning of the season and see how good you are. And
Mhm.
then hopefully in the conference you get hot, you make it to the big show, the NCAA tournament, and that is an incredible experience. Being on the
Mhm.
biggest stage and being able to perform, it's an amazing experience.
Well, that seems incredible, but how is the daily life of a student athlete in college?
It's tough. It can be tough, honestly, because you have to balance the responsibilities of being an athlete, but your academics have to come first. And
Mhm.
that's hard because you don't have the same amount of time as a regular student. So, for example, I might have to get up and go to the gym, the fitness gym at 6 o'clock. So you have to get up early, go there, do your workout, finish your workout. I have class maybe at 8 or 9. So I have to, shower, change clothes, go back to campus, go to the cafeteria so I can eat breakfast, go to class. I might have class at 9, class at 10, class at 11. So I have to go to all these classes, then go eat again. If you have time, maybe take a nap for, 45 minutes. Back to practice. Practice starts at 2, or maybe it starts at 3. You got to be there early because you have to
Mhm.
get taped. If you have an injury or something, you have to get treatment. You have to go to the trainer, the doctor, do all of that stuff. So let's say practice starts at 2. You're going to finish around 5. Then you might want to shoot after practice. You might want to go to the doctor and get some massage or something, work on your body. So now it's about 6 o'clock, 6:15. Shower, back to campus. You got to eat dinner, and then after dinner, you have to go to study hall, which is something that the school will require you to do as a way to make sure you're studying enough. So they require you to go to this meeting center, and you have to check in, and you have to do a certain amount of hours each week so that they make sure that you are doing your schoolwork. So then you have to do that and sit there and work on your schoolwork. And then after that, it's time to go to bed. And then, the next day it's the same thing. The schedule might be a little different. So it's definitely tough, but it can also be a lot of fun to be a college athlete. A lot of people are going to know who you are, and you're gonna receive a lot of attention, and people are gonna be fans of you. So that's fun. College itself is fun. There's always things to do, especially the city of Lafayette. There's always parties. There's always a festival or some type of carnival or something. There's a lot of really great places to eat. So it's tough. Like some of the videos that you may see a day in the life, it is tough, but it can also be a lot.
Well, if you go back in time to those days, will you ever think that you were going to play in Montenegro, Ukraine, Hungary?
No, man, I didn't even know. I had never heard of Montenegro before I went
Yeah,
there. I didn't
yeah.
even know anything about it. And I didn't, when I first got to college, I didn't know anything about overseas basketball. I had never heard of EuroLeague. I had never heard of CSKA, Barcelona. I had never heard of any of this besides soccer. And I remember my freshman year, we had a senior who is about to graduate, and everyone's asking, "Yo, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" He says, "Oh, I'm gonna go overseas and play basketball." And I was like, "What is that?" And then you just start asking questions, and you learn. And each season, you learn more and more and more. And by the time I was a senior, I was like, "I think I'll try that."
Yeah.
But I never would have thought I would have had the journey that I've had. Like Montenegro, I had never heard of that place. Georgia, I didn't know anything about Georgia. when I went to Georgia. Hungary, I didn't know anything about Hungary. Russia, when I came here, everybody had all these ideas about Russia, like, oh, Russians are crazy, they're mean, it's cold. Like, I didn't know anything about it, but it's been an amazing journey thus far.
Well, and as you have said, you played your first professional season in Montenegro. How was that experience? How much did you enjoy that situation in there?
Man, it was hard. It was very, very hard. Probably the hardest season of my entire life.
Hmm?
Um, it was a low budget experience, low budget organization. My contract was for $500 a month, which is nothing basically. I had a job before that. I was working at a bar, like bartending, making drinks. I made more in America than I did when I went overseas.
Hmm.
So it was no money. I didn't make any money. The team, they didn't have a doctor. They didn't have trainers. They didn't have medical staff. They didn't have anything. All they had was, like these frozen ice packs that you put in the
Yeah.
freezer, take it out, and then you like put on your shoulder. We had two. We had two of these, and then we had, I think, 12 people on the team. So you take the pack, the ice pack, you use it, and before you leave, you go back and you put it in the freezer for somebody else. So like if you have an injury or something, it's very hard because there's nobody to take care of you. So that was tough. The gym was old and it was kind of dirty. There's no heat. There's no air conditioning. So in the winter, it was just freezing cold.
Hmm.
It was freezing cold, man. The first apartment was really small. It was like one room and there was like a bed in the middle and then a bunk bed, like a bed with a bed on top. And I got there late, so there was already somebody in the big bed, and then I had to take the bottom bunk, and there was another guy sleeping on top of me. And I was just like, man, what? I was like, what is this? Like, this is
Yeah.
this is crazy, man. The bathroom was really small, and it was really difficult, man. Our coach, we had a Serbian coach who was a good coach, very smart coach, but he was just he's like an angry guy.
Yeah.
Every practice, he's like screaming, cursing us out, calling us bad names, kicking people out of practice, making people run the stairs for no reason, no reason at all. Like a guy missed a shot, get out. Now you got to run the stairs for the rest of practice, and it was so difficult, man. I felt like being there. I felt like the coach just hated me, even though we had a good relationship. The way he would handle us in practice made it hard to stay confident and play because you feel like every time you make a mistake, the coach is gonna explode.
Hmm.
So dealing with all of that, it was very hard. It's my first time being away from my family for that long, and the Wi-Fi was going out at our apartment every week. Every week's like no Wi-Fi, and you tell the
Yeah.
manager, he's like, oh, okay, okay, and then 2 days later they fix it. So it was extremely hard, man. I think I started counting down the days. Like when I got to January, me and my roommate were just like, all right, man, 67 days, 66 days, 65 days. But it was a learning experience. I learned a lot, and I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Well, but you did pretty good numbers in there, and that helped you out to get to Hungary, right? So
Yeah,
that's
for
something
sure.
where, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, the coach helped me a lot. He was very smart. He helped me to see, the way the game is played in Europe, it's different because I was playing like a college, an American, like, just go, 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 go. And
Yeah.
he helped me to see, like if you slow down and you can do this, you can do that. This guy's open. This guy's open. If you wait a little bit, all these different things that I didn't really care to pay attention to in college, he helped me to see. And we actually had a pretty good season, even though most of the guys hated it. I think the regular season we only lost like 2 games, and so it ended up being it worked out, for the most part.
Have you been able to learn any language in Europe, or you're
Yeah,
living that for? Yeah.
no, yeah. I learned Serbian my first year. I learned Russian last year, and I learned more Russian this year. I always try to learn a little bit so I can communicate with people, and I feel
Mhm.
like your teammates and the people around you will appreciate you more if you try to learn the language, as opposed to
Yeah.
just, whatever. I'm American. I speak English. If you don't speak English, I don't talk to you. If you actually try, like, hey, how do
Yeah.
you say this or how do you say that? Yeah, people will like you. They appreciate you. You know what I mean? I always try to.
And how different is life between America and Europe? Which thing surprised you the most?
It's honestly not that different
Yeah.
in America, man. Like the differences are very small, honestly. Like I would say, the prices of certain things here are a lot different. Like for example, peanut butter is like really hard to find for some reason in certain
Mhm.
countries. If you go to America, you can buy peanut butter like at a
Anyway,
gas station. Yeah, anywhere. Like I remember my first season, I asked my coach, "Hey, do they have peanut butter here?" He's like, "Peanut butter?" He's like, "No, not really." I was like, "Dang, who doesn't have peanut butter?" It's like crazy. But Europeans, man, they drive crazy to me. Like people here seem to just park their cars wherever they want and just leave the car. And it doesn't matter if they're blocking you, if they're blocking the street, they're blocking the entrance. They don't care. They just park their car and go. I would say one thing though, Europeans, I think, have more of a sense of community, more of a sense of togetherness and unity, I think, than what you would see sometimes in the States. Like the guys,
okay.
yeah, they kind of like everybody's more together, I think, as opposed to in America, I think more people are like everybody for themselves. So,
All right. Well, I have to say that I've never had peanut butter before coming to America, so I can relate to that.
yeah.
Well, after your season in Montenegro, as I said, you have played in Hungary, Georgia, and Ukraine. Can you explain us a little bit how were those experiences in those countries?
Oh man, yeah, yeah, man. I've had a crazy journey, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy journey.
Hmm?
So, dang, where do I even start? Gosh.
Whatever you
Okay.
want.
Okay. So, I played in college, 4 years. I had a pretty good career. I was like, 1,000 point scorer in college. I think when I left, I was like fifth or sixth with, all-time three-pointers. I was top 10 all-time in steals. So I had a decent career. And I signed with an agent that one of my coaches brought to me.
Hmm?
And unfortunately, he just couldn't find me a job for whatever reason. I don't really know. So I graduated in 2016, and then I never got any offers. So the next year, January 2017, I got out of my contract, and then I got with another agent. This guy, telling me all these promises and all these things that he was going to do. And then when the time came, the guy just disappeared. Like I was calling him, he wouldn't answer texting him, doesn't answer email, Facebook, Messenger, nothing.
Hmm?
Like I didn't hear from him from I want to say like July 2017. I didn't talk to him until January 2018. So all this time, I'm at home, still living with my parents or my mom, and we had a really small apartment. It was just a very like sad life. You know what I mean? Coming from being a college basketball player, then you go home and it's like I don't have anything. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then I got the opportunity to go to Montenegro. I went, I played well. The season ended. I went, came home, and then I signed to a new agency that was actually very good. My boy Bertrand Guineas is a very good agent. I worked with him, and then August came, August of this is 2018, and I remember like it was yesterday, man. I was sleeping, middle of the night. My agent texted me. He's like, "Hey, these teams are interested in you, but your coach from Montenegro is telling all the teams that you have another season in Montenegro." So I jumped up because I was confused. I was like, "Whoa!" It's like, no, man. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm on the phone. Like, what's going on? This is crazy. So then I finally get in contact with my coach, and he's like, yeah, man, you signed a 2-year deal. And I was like, no, I didn't. But when I signed in Montenegro, I didn't have an agent. So I didn't
Yeah.
know anything about contracts. I didn't know how to maneuver that situation. So I didn't have any proof. I didn't have any kind of evidence or anything to help my case. So like there was nothing I could do. So now it's August, September. I'm sitting at home, and my team in Montenegro is like, you can either pay the buyout or you can sit out a year because we're not going to release you. So I'm
Yeah.
just sitting. Yeah. So now I'm just sitting at home. I have no money because I didn't make any money. Trying to find a job. I'm broke. I'm just like kind of depressed because I'm just sitting on the couch every day, messaging agents, and nobody's saying anything. Nobody can help me. And then
Mhm.
I went to this G League tryout for the Rockets, and they liked me. They invited me to training camp, so I was excited. But then I still have this contract issue with my other team, so I can't go. So now they have to pick another player. So I'm back in the same spot, sad, every day. And then I got a job working, and then my agent, who I hadn't talked to my agent in like a month, he just randomly texted me out of the blue. He was like, "Hey, got an offer for you in Hungary," and I was like, "Whoa, I haven't even talked to you in a month, bro. Like, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, I got an offer for you in Hungary. Blah blah blah. This is what we're gonna do." And I was extremely excited because I thought my career was over. If you miss a year in basketball as a rookie or a second year player, that makes your stock go down a lot because
Yeah.
agents are gonna or teams are gonna say, "Well, what were you doing last year?" "Oh, he wasn't playing. That means he's not ready." So I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess this is it for me. I'll just get a job." So he comes with the offer, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm back." I'm like, "I'm back, I'm back, baby."
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited. And then my old team were just making it extremely difficult. So at first they were like, "Okay, well, if you give us this small amount of money, we'll let you go, and you just pay us the rest later." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." Then they say, "No, we want more money." I said, "Okay, cool." "No, we want more money." And I was like, "I don't have any money." I was like, I have no money. So I was like, if you let me go, we can make an agreement that I will pay you over the season. And they're like, "No, we don't want that. We want the money now." And so one of my trainers, and who's also my best friends, ended up helping me get out of that situation. So I go to Hungary, and I'm excited. I'm back. I'm making way more money than I did the year before, but it's a month tryout. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, which is like 4 games. So I got 4 games to show what I can do. And I think the first game we lost, but I played decent. I think I had like 12 points and like 4 assists or something like that. So it was okay. The second game we won. I think I had like 9 or something, 9 and 4. Then the next game we played really bad. We all lost. Like it was just a terrible game. Then the last game we played against a team that was in the FIBA Euro Cup. So I played really well against them. Like I had like 22 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds or something. And right after the game, the GM's like, "Oh man, we really like you. We want to keep you. We think you can really help us. Man, we're so excited. Oh, blah blah blah. All this stuff's gonna be so well. It's gonna be so good. Yada 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 yada." Then we have a break where we didn't have a game for a couple weeks, and then like 2 weeks later, they sign another American point guard. So I'm playing the combo guard. We have another combo guard already, and I think we had a guy from Bulgaria and we had 2 guys from Serbia. So we already have too many imports. So now they signed another point guard. So I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Why is he here if we're all here together? And so then another week and a half, I go to the gym to work out, and everybody goes to get dressed, and they're like, "Kasey, come, come." So I go talk to the coach. He's like, "Man, unfortunately, we have to cut you. We don't want to cut you, but we can't afford to keep you because someone has to go. It's too many imports, and because you're on a tryout, you have the easiest contract to cut because they don't have to pay me any extra money, just for that 1 month." So I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Thank you for the opportunity, blah, blah. So now I'm in Hungary. I don't have a team. And this is like December. And I'm in Hungary from the beginning of December until January, like I think January 13.
Moved to Georgia.
When I went to Georgia, yeah. So I'm in Hungary. I'm just going to practice with them every day, but they're not. I'm not really practicing with them because I'm not on the team. So I'm just on the side, dribbling and running up and down the court and shooting a little bit. So then I go to Georgia, and I didn't want to go to Georgia because I was in Hungary. So it's like Hungary, Georgia. You don't want to go down, you want to go up. So I'm thinking, okay. But at the same time, this is the only option I have. So I was like, well, go, give it everything you got and let the chips fall wherever they fall. So I go to Georgia. The coach is really cool. The organization was okay, and I just tried my best not to focus on whether I liked it or not. Just focus on what's in front of you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and something good will come. And the coach gave me the freedom to, be myself. And so I went and I played pretty well. And went back home this summer, started to get more offers. This is the first time I ever had people like reaching out to me, like, oh yeah, we want you. And I was like, okay, this is kind of, so this is what it feels like. I was like, this is kind of nice. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So then Kiev reaches out to me, they're like, oh, we're going to do FIBA Cup, or we're going to do the Champions League qualifiers. And I was like, ooh, Champions League. I was like, that's big time basketball right there. And then they said, but the only thing is, it's the tryout. You're doing a tryout. And I was like, here we go again. Because the same last season was a tryout. Yeah. So I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm not doing it. I can't do it again, bro. I did it once. I was like, I don't want to do that again. And then I thought about it, and I was like, man, this is the best opportunity because once you get on the cup stage, more people are watching you as opposed to just if you're playing in, like first league or second league or whatever. You're playing against all these different teams in different countries, so everyone's paying attention. So I said, well, this is the best opportunity. Let's go, make it happen. So I went, and I ended up staying for the whole season, which was cool. And for the most part, man, the team was a pretty good team. I ended up reuniting with one of the guys that I played with when I was like 12 years old. We played on the same AAU team, and then we're both from Houston, so we played against each other in high school. We ended up playing together. My boy Kendall Hill. So that was cool. I had a friend on the team, and it was a pretty good season. And unfortunately, I think uh, January I ended up having to get my appendix taken out, so I had to miss a month. And when you get your appendix taken out, you can't do anything. Like you can't lift weights, you can't run, you can't dribble the basketball, you can't shoot. You just have to like walk. And,
Yeah.
I'm just going to practice every day for like 3 weeks, just sitting there. And then, unfortunately, when I did get back to playing, I just couldn't get back in the same rhythm that I was in before. Because before I had got hurt, the team was playing well. I was playing pretty well. We were winning games. We were all playing together. And then when I came back, I was struggling to find that same place that I was in. And then at the same time, it felt like there were more egos now because we were winning. Now, certain guys want to, they want to be stars a little bit. They want more touches. They want more shots. And it just made the environment real ugly. Like
Yeah.
we would go to practice and guys would be upset with other guys for like he didn't pass me the ball or I should have shot this shot. Why didn't they call the play for me? And so I just remember when the season ended, I was like, okay, I wasn't really mad because the energy was just bad. You know what I mean? And I never been in a situation like that before. So I was kind of relieved, when I got the text that, oh yeah, the season's over. And I was like, okay, well, let's just finish it and, go home. So, but all in all, Ukraine was a good experience, man. Unfortunately, um, I feel like we didn't get to maximize the season, and unfortunately, man, they the coach of the team was the same coach of the national team. He offered me a
Yeah.
chance to play for the national team, And I was excited. You know, I signed the contract and everything, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good, man." And then when I came back from injury, I just wasn't playing at that same level. And so, unfortunately, even after I had already signed the contract and already did all this stuff, you know, unfortunately, even after that, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go with a different player." So that kind of hurt a little bit because I was really excited about playing for the national team. And also, it was kind of tough because they didn't tell me directly.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't. Nobody reached out to me and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're gonna go in a different direction." I like just saw it on Instagram one day. Yeah, I went on Instagram and it was like a post from Ukraine. They're like, "Oh, they're not. The coach isn't really interested in Kasey anymore. They're going to for this guy or this guy." And I was just like, "Okay, good, good to know." So
Okay.
that was unfortunate, but I ended up getting an opportunity to come here, which was really huge because I was interested in the team last year. Like I was watching, Nishini's games. I was watching Brandon Brown. I was watching Daryl Willis last season. So being able to play here was a really good opportunity, and
Hmm.
it's been pretty good so far. So everything worked out, I guess, for the most part.
Well, so after all what you have been through, now you're playing on the Basketball Champions League with Nizhny Novgorod,
Yeah,
which, I mean, the Russian domestic league is a pretty good league, and now many people knows about you. So, I mean, it was worth it, right?
yeah, for sure, man. It was definitely worth it. Each experience taught me a
Mhm.
valuable lesson. So it was all part of the God's plan, I guess.
Hmm. And how is the Basketball Champions League?
I love
How
it.
is it to go to different countries every single week?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think the only
Hmm.
bad thing is because of the COVID, the virus, the season
Yeah.
is not the way it was supposed to be. But
Hmm.
if without the virus, oh my God, I love it. I love the energy of the games. I love the exposure. I love the playing teams from different countries. There's so many good players, that you get to play against. For me, players that I used to watch before when I
Hmm.
started learning about this overseas basketball world, players that I used to watch, like Dylan Ennis. I used to watch Dylan Ennis my rookie
Hmm.
year when he was playing in Serbia, Mega Baymax, because my teammates are, Montenegro and Serbian, so we're watching their games. And I'm like, this guy's good. This Dylan Ennis, like, he's fast, he's energetic. And then I watched him go to Red Star, and then I watched him go to Saragossa, and then 2 years later, I'm playing against him. I'm guarding him. He's guarding me. It's like, what? This is crazy. Like, how does this even
Yeah.
happen? So I love it, man. I love playing the Champions League. I'm really excited for the playoffs.
Okay. Well, I just got a couple more questions. I want to know now what have you learned from playing overseas in Europe?
Ooh, man, a lot. Man, it's so many things for sure. Languages for one, I learned a lot of new languages. I learned history about different places,
Hmm.
why people do the things that they do, why certain relationships are the way that they are between countries. I learned a lot about myself. I learned, things that I like, things that I don't like, things that help me play better, things that hinder me from playing well, things that I need to work on, as a person, as an athlete, as a player.
Hmm.
And then I learned lessons along the way, like each stop. The first season, I learned the big lesson from the first season was to just see your goal, whatever your goal is, and to block out all the negativity and focus on your goal and stay. It's like a horse running the race. The horses that run around the
Yeah.
track, they wear blinders. They don't see the other horse. They just see the finish line. So that was big for me. Like instead of focusing on the guys that I played against, oh, Eurobasket, he just signed to Germany. Oh, this guy just signed to France. Like, don't worry about that. Focus
Hmm.
on what's in front of you. And if you do what you're supposed to do, you'll get to where you need to go. I learned that my rookie year. And I also learned the business of contracts, how contracts work, and making sure you always have copies of everything, no matter what you sign. So, anybody watching this, if you're a rookie, this is
Hmm.
a big lesson. No matter what you sign, take a picture of it, have it in your phone, because if something happens, you're gonna need that. You don't want to be in a situation like me where something happens, but you can't do anything about it because you didn't know. So I learned that too. Being in Hungary, I learned like don't when you go to a new situation, don't try to fit in to the team. Go into the situation and be the player that you know you are. Because when I was
Hmm.
there at first, I was like, man, how can I was spent so much time talking to the coach and talking to the players, like, man, how can I help y'all? Like, what can I do?
Hmm.
I realized like the last game I played so well because I told myself, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna do what I know to do, what I know how to do, what I do well, and let that speak for itself. And if your coach wants to tell you to adjust after the fact, they will. So just be you. Whatever it is that you do that when you
Hmm.
get to wherever you're going. And then if they want to change something, they'll tell you. So that was my biggest thing. Like I spent so much time just trying to fit in instead of just like, bro, just be Kasey. Kasey Shepherd. That's what got you here. Be that. And you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Let that work. And then Ukraine, being in Ukraine, playing for that team, the lesson that I took from that was don't let the noise of the people around you distract you. Because there was a lot of negative energy, and I felt like at times I let that bother me, and I let that keep me wherever I was frustrated with like a teammate, or I was frustrated with the coach, or whatever management that's not paying on time, or whatever the situation is. Like you got to learn how to block all that out so you can continue to be the best version of yourself. And
Okay. Okay. So, hmm, yeah. Hmm.
that's it, man.
Well,
No lie.
now I want to ask you, which advice will you give to an American player who is moving to Europe to play as on a professional level? That's something that you could have done to yourself.
Um, it's a lot, man, for sure.
Hmm?
Blah blah. On the opportunity to become a better player. And I think Keith Langford said this, like, if
Hmm?
you're meant to be at a higher level, or maybe it was his name, Nigel Williams, whatever his last name is. If you're meant to be at a higher level, you'll get there. You know what I mean? So just go into your situation and ball out. Do
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. If that's what you're supposed to be, eventually,
Hmm? Okay.
don't check Eurobasket. Not good for you. Not healthy. Just play basketball.
Hmm? Well, now I just want you to challenge two other players to join the podcast of interviews, and this will be everything. I'm sorry, I'm having some issues to hear you. The connection is not working as before. Can you hear me? Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
working.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So
I can definitely.
I don't know if you could repeat the question that I told you. If you could challenge two other players to join the podcast.
Yes, I would challenge. Uh, see somebody. Oh man, my boy Merrick. Merrick Classic. He's playing in Sweden right now. Definitely, Merrick should be on here. He's very.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this will be everything. Thank you so much, Kasey, for being with me today. I've had a great time with you. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I've also learned a lot of things about your professional career that I didn't know. So thank you so much for being with me today on episode number 34. And I hope you have enjoyed this time.